Hello and welcome to another episode of the Just Go Watch podcast. This week we are reviewing a true Brit story of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Yes,
Jolly good old boy.
The snipping time was
Oh
had
my
by
God.
all.
I don't mind telling you, it's bloody fantastic to be here, boys.
I couldn't understand half
Up
the
the
shit they were
blighty.
saying. Oh my God.
Exactly. Yes. You are back, of course, with MP, who we're going to really educate today on how the war was really won.
It was one when we came over there and we took care of business because y'all couldn't handle your stuff.
What I
Of
learned
course,
was that the
Deej is with us.
Americans couldn't cross the pond, struggling to avoid these submarines, and the Brits had to come in, save the day so they could get across. And ultimately, when they got here, they decided, you know what, fuck this, we're just going to drop a bomb on the Japs, and that'll be that.
We took care of two fronts, baby.
Oh dear. Yes, thank you, Deej. And of course, Hatcher Plant, your beloved host, is here. So, yes. Why wasn't this film out earlier? I can't get my head around it.
I know it. It came out in
don't know.
April,
What?
I think, here.
Yeah, why on earth would you release a film about British soldiers, right, in World War II, and only release it in America and not release it in England? Like, I mean, with like the like number one English actor in the world that like just fucking everyone, man, woman, and beast is flicking their bean to. Like,
I can't get my head around it.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Not a great plan. Not a great plan.
Me neither. Like, it wasn't in the cinema here at all, was it? I'm not wrong
No,
in saying
it
that, am I?
is an exclusively Amazon Prime Video release. I think Guy Ritchie's got some
Fucking ridiculous. 'Cause look
contract
how
or
many
something
dog shit films
with
there
him.
have been in the cinema.
Exactly.
I would have gone
mad.
to see this. I can't remember what we reviewed that week, right? Or even if we did review something, maybe we had to find something on Netflix. But I would have gone to see this, man. I would have gone.
You know, Deej, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that was our epic Ricky
Stinnicky.
episode.
Was it? Was it?
Yes, I think it was.
Well, you can't go back on that now.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Ricky Stinnicky is now our third most listened to pod of all time, behind Fast and Furious 9 and the Tomorrow War. Which we theorize that the Tomorrow War and Fast and Furious 9 podcast have listened to so much because the pod itself is so long, people think it's just the film.
Yeah, I genuinely. Speaking of, obviously we are new to this to the YouTube game. We've been around on the podcast train for a while, but yeah, YouTube itself a little bit new, and maybe maybe we've learned how we should properly advertise our reviews. Because I woke up the morning after posting a Quiet Place Day 1 review, which it says in the title, by the way. We do go on, so it is 1 hour and 9 minutes. Still well below the length of time on the actual movie, but to several hundred reviews of people basically expecting to watch the film. So they were massively disappointed. Surprise. So yeah, I'm sorry.
Giving us down likes as well. Giving us unlikes. It's not our fault, that you can't read. It says review on it, man. Like, if you click, listen, I hope, if you came to this pod and you're now listening, and you were looking for the real film, and you clicked unlike because it wasn't the real film. I hope all of the bad things in life happen to you and only you, right? And that you suffer forevermore. I hope you're the kind of person that's having a really good day one day. And it's like, oh, nothing can go wrong here, nothing can go wrong. And then you slip and you break your ankle and your knee lands in dog shit, and then like someone comes and helps you up and then realizes, oh no, actually I don't really like your face, and punches you straight in the eye. That's the kind of thing I hope happens to you.
I really hope that they've pressed play on this expecting to watch the movie, and then as they went back they slipped and broke their leg. So now they're trapped on the floor and they've got us like just berating them.
And also, and
3 hours.
And if I
just want to watch the film, please.
I hope that your wife is someone who has an ankle fetish, and now that you've got a messed up ankle, she leaves you.
And
then
for one of us.
Yeah.
For one of us.
Yeah.
Preferably me.
Are we reviewing film today?
I think we are.
We rarely
some British movie.
But no, before we do get onto any film stuff, it is YouTube in it. So like Please don't dislike us because it's not the actual film. Leave
There's
a
so many
comment.
more
Let us know what
reasons
you
to
thought
dislike us.
of the film. Oh, there are so many reasons. You'll probably hear several of them on this podcast. And then subscribe would be great. Let's get us out there. Get us out there.
Yep.
And obviously, if you're listening on pods, long time love. Long time love.
Yep.
We won't forget you.
And don't forget to do what MP tell them. MP tell them.
Yeah, find us on our social media on Instagram and X/Twitter at Just Go Watch Pod. Leave reviews, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'd love to hear from you.
There we go. There we go. So we're not going to do the plot just yet. I'm excited for that though. But yes, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. So it did come out this year. It is a 2024, but as we've alluded to, a couple of different release dates. Directed by Guy Ritchie with a runtime of 122 minutes, with a budget of gentlemen. What do you say?
It's got some good people in this, isn't it?
That it has.
But it's not special effects heavy.
Oh no.
And they haven't put it in the cinema, which makes me think. I'm going to say
I'm going to stop
40 million. 40 million.
Okay.
I will go 55 million.
The budget for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare 2024 was $60 million.
Once again.
I said I was going to stop doing the voice. I'm doing it again.
God, I'm getting tired
so
of
based off of that, though, so as we've said, right,
why do I have to be right all the time?
A very restricted cinematic release.
Oh God!
Basically, just in the US, thanks to Lionsgate. So, what has this done at the box office?
Just in the US, has it made budget? Has it made budget? MP, did you see it in the cinema?
I did not. I don't think it was in the cinema very long for me to go see it.
Ooh. I reckon we might be looking at Flopsville here. I'm going to say 30 million.
Okay.
Ooh, God. Yeah, like I said, it was not here very long. I wanted to go see it, and it seemed like 2 weeks later it was gone. I'll go a little higher. I'll go 38 million.
27.3 million.
And you shall know him, for he will always redeem himself, and his predictions shall be accurate, for he is the Muad'Dij.
The Muad'Dij.
The Mahdi of the Pod Nation.
Yeah, interesting one, really. I'm really struggling with that decision. I can only guess that Prime Video were like, yeah, don't worry, we'll pay.
They must have
that budget. That budget must be, I don't know. Is that solely Prime Video money, or I don't know? Distribution rights are all Amazon Prime Video, I guess. So
yeah, because if they would have released it over there or where y'all live, it would have done a hell of a lot better.
I think you'd have got people going to see it. I don't know. I mean, Amazon money must be big money, I suppose.
I'm sure it is. They throw it at the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah.
All
right. So
Netflix is the same. Pay a lot of money, don't they? Get them bringing.
Yeah. It's just a money laundering scheme, isn't it? All right. So let's get on to this movie. So what are we going to do about this plot summary then, Deej?
Yeah. Listen, guys. There's a new kid in town. Let me tell you about this plot. Right. We're some year, I can't remember when, but it's obviously during World War II. The U-boats are a problem because basically the Yanks can't get over to us. The supplies can't get over to us. And what can we do? Because these U-boats are intercepting all of the supply ships. So there's only one thing to do, surmises Winston Churchill. Send a ragtag group of spies and ungentlemanly soldiers who have no respect for the rules on a under the books, off the books mission. Right, we've got our man Henry Cavill, who's the major. I can't remember his name, Gus something or other, and his band of merry criminals. They're not actual criminals, but they're soldiery criminals. You know? And they are going to kill and murder their way into foreign territory. They are going to steal a U-boat. Ultimately, amongst a bunch of R-rated violence that you're just going to fucking love, that puts Deadpool to shame, they're going to steal the U-boat, solve the crisis, And that is going to be the end of the film. And the whole way through, you're just going to be thinking, fuck me. Alan fucking Richardson and Henry Cavill are the two best looking men on the face of God's green earth. And that is the plot of this film, my friends.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right, I'll give you, I'll give you that one.
Hatchie, were you
A
taking
minute and
notes
10
on that?
seconds. A minute and 10 seconds. Yeah, I mean,
You might need to go back and
yeah,
re-listen and kind of learn how to get that rhythm.
It's certainly a different style. Certainly a different style. But listen, that is the plot. 1941 is when it's set. And Gus March Phillips is his name. Yeah, but apart from that, listen, it was pretty spot on. You know, maybe I can take something away from that. Maybe I'll just discount it and go back to doing it my way next week. Well, no, who knows? But it was good. So after you've given that tremendous plot summary, what was your review and was your rating?
Well, let me tell you, I inherently, and I don't mind saying this, I'm not ashamed to say this, as a heterosexual male who's happily married, yeah, I don't mind telling you, Henry Cavill, listen, is there ever been a better looking man? Ever in the history of the world? Does it help that he was Superman? Probably, right? But I love this man. I love Henry Cavill, man. He's just like, he's been Superman. He's a fucking geeky nerd. He loves fucking Warhammer and all things geek. Like, just fucking, he builds his own computers. Just like what a guy. So listen, I'm like, anytime he's in a film, I've got goodwill. Like, you ain't got to do much for me to think, to me to be on board with this film. Right? Then you add my boy Reacher into it, and I just know, like, oh my god, I'm gonna have gym motivation for the next like month now, like instantly, right? And you put Guy Ritchie involved, who like I barely ever makes a bad film. I don't really think, can't really think of many that he's made. This film had all the recipe to be something top notch. Having said that, not halfway through, a third of the way through, I was a bit like, I don't know about this. You know, is it a bit like, I don't know. Is it trying to be a bit Quentin Tarantino-y but missing the mark? I don't know. And then, kind of without realizing it, I kind of just realized I'm really fucking enjoying this film. I'm really enjoying this film. Look at the way they're killing these motherfuckers. They are the death count in this film. Unbelievable. People getting stabbed, shot, bows and arrows flying and whatnot. I was just like, yes, give me more of this. And by the end, I was just like, fuck me, I'm enjoying this. I don't really want this to end. So it was nice to see a film that had been thought about, that like characters really enjoying themselves, and obviously it's not realistic in the sense of what's happening on screen per se, but a film that isn't just like nonsense. Like, and you know, as much as I love Deadpool and Wolverine, it was nonsense. You know, a plot, actors, you know, a director that's really thought about the film, you know, but without it being like a Scorsese fucking sucking himself off fest. I just was like, yeah, I'm involved in this. I'm here for this. So I don't know. For me, this was just a refreshing film. I just enjoyed it. I really like this film. So I'm gonna start at a 7.75, and I'm going to see where I go from there. But I enjoyed this film. I enjoyed it. I listen. I won't be hung up. I won't be ostracized. I won't be criticized because I enjoyed it, boys. And that's what films are about. If you didn't enjoy it, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. But I mean, Henry Cavill, what a guy. Love that man.
All right. MP.
All right.
What's the view from across the pond?
Well, as I went into this movie, going into my review, I might cause a bit of, what was the line in the movie? A bit of an upset as I go into this review. I was extremely excited for this movie. Like I said, I wanted to see it when it was in the movie theater, but it was in and out before you know it, just much like my love life. But anyway, as I'm watching this, I'm like, God, I think this is like, you know what this movie is? This movie is Guy Ritchie copying off of Quentin Tarantino's Homework, but changing it just enough so the teacher won't notice. That's what this is. This is Inglourious Bastards. It hits all the same kind of beats with it. with, you got stuff like Alan Richardson's character. He wants his German hearts, his barrel full of German hearts. You even got the guy who's not Lando, Christoph Waltz.
I believe.
Yeah, even though the guy was Hugo Stiglitz in the movie, but he did not have the same sort of vibe as that. You even got where the girl sort of tips herself off with the thing that the Germans only notice, like Fassbender did with the 3 fingers when he's holding them up. I was like, holy shit, come on, man. Stop copying everything they did in that movie. So it was frustrating that for me. I will say I agree. Cavill is excellent in this movie. He's having a blast through the whole movie. And every time that group was on the screen and I was watching the movie with that team doing what they were doing, this movie was excellent. Alan Richardson, as you said, as Reacher, I like him as Reacher, but man, it was kind of impressive to see a man stand next to Henry Cavill and make Henry Cavill look small. So props to you, Alan Richards. There was a couple moments though, I said, where the guys were trying to fight him. I was like, nope, you're not going to win this. You're not grabbing that gun out of his hand. But yeah, overall, I liked that part of the movie. I also liked the violence. Yes, it's over the top. It's cartoony. This is a historical thing, which I'd like to learn more about. I might have to read the book to see what the real thing was, but I liked that they kind of embellished it. It was fun in that regard. I liked, as an American, I liked how British it was. There are moments in this movie where, like, very early on, where they're getting shot at in the boat by the German boat, and they're just in it. Are we going to get it? No, we'll be fine. They're just so calm about it. And then one guy's got like the nipples with the car battery hooked to it. And Cavill's like, are you okay? He's like, yeah. If you could just unhook those, it's still on. It was like, all right. I loved all that stuff. Everything with the team. Again, on a side note, it was cool to see Carrie Elways and anything. He's awesome ever since Princess Bride. But yeah, it was really cool. I like the James Bond connection. If you pick up on all that fun stuff, it was really cool. Having said all that, when they went to the young lady and the other guy that were doing all that sort of stuff and they were trying to figure that stuff slowed this movie down a lot. Like, I mean, it would hit like a brick wall. And I was like, geez, I don't want to watch this. I want to watch the other stuff. And I think if this movie had inverted that and we'd have had, because really this is kind of almost a bait and switch, because you get more of that than you do of the team until I guess the very end. If they'd have inverted that and we'd have just had little snippets of them doing their espionage stuff while we were following the team around, I would have enjoyed this movie a lot more. Again, I know this is going to piss off my co-host, but there were points in this movie I was like, holy fuck, what are we doing here? It's just dragging so bad. And it was like they would have little scenes here and there just to remind you that Henry Cavill and that team are still in the movie. So there are moments I got bored. The action stuff was great. Everything else was bland and boring and a copy of Inglourious Basterds. So I'm going to go pretty low. I'm going to go 5.5.
Woo!
Whoa. All right.
Lord have mercy. That's 2 weeks in a row now.
Yeah, that's
2 weeks in a row.
That is quite the disparity.
The trip to South Carolina's off.
So
maybe I should be worried. Yeah. You can come sucker punch me.
So I was really interested in this, in the true story, because this is supposedly what tipped off Ian Fleming, who we see in the film, to write James Bond. James Bond is supposed to be based on Gus March Phillips, played by Henry Cavill. So this was kind of like Henry Cavill almost like playing Bond before he was Bond. So that was kind of nice. But like, yeah, it's obviously a really interesting story, and the real life story is actually like pretty plain and boring. Not plain and boring. They did a really good mission, but it was in and out with 30 minutes, and barely anyone got killed. So it was just like it just went super smoothly, and so obviously they then have to kind of go for it a bit when it comes to a Guy Ritchie movie about the same kind of thing. The reason I looked it up afterwards is because there's several points in this where I thought, why have they done that? Why has it gone like that? Now I know I'm not supposed to look at all of that in this kind of film, because this film is like hey, look, I can shoot him without even really aiming. Just bring up my gun. Like it is having a laugh at itself. And it's just like, come along for the ride. However, like I still want the plot and everything else to make sense. And I was at some points confused. I was thinking, was that in the movie? Was that in real life? And Guy Ritchie is kind of felt like he wanted to do it justice, or is there actually a problem here? As you said, MP and Deej, when Breacher and Cavill, what is his name? When they're on the screen together, like, is quality. Like, they've obviously got some decent chemistry. They work really well. That team in general worked pretty good. Although the Appleyard guy was a little bit. I think he played that teenage spy film. I forget what it was called. He was fine, but those two great. But then we leave them to go do some other spy shit, and I don't know. I felt a little bit betrayed by that. I was like, I'm here to see Henry Cavill and what's his face, like, rip people in half with their bare hands. Like, that's what I'm here for. And like, they're barely in it. I would argue. Like, the whole thing of them, like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go the trip. Oh, we're gonna go long trip. Oh no, we can't. We're gonna go short trip. And then we literally don't get anything. The first hour goes by, and I'm like, they've not done anything apart from that German ship thing, which was a very good scene, but that's the introduction to the movie, so nothing's really happened. There was plenty of issues I found. I thought, on the island itself, which I'll get into in our sort of main review. And I did think it does feel like a bit of an Inglourious Basterds ripoff, yes. And the whole bit with the song and everything else, I was like, come on. And then it almost felt like Guy Ritchie was having to make this film with like one hand tied behind his back. It wasn't as slick. It wasn't as clever. It wasn't as witty. There was some there. You could see the elements there, but it just misses the mark in perhaps what I was one of my most anticipated films of the year. Maybe that's on me, but it just felt like it was someone doing an imitation of a Guy Ritchie movie, taking a load of stuff from Inglourious Basterds and not quite hitting either one. So I don't know whether that was something to do with the budget, like we said, relatively low budget. I don't know if that was something to do with Amazon Prime Video putting their oar in, because they do that when they own something or when they're doing it. But there's plenty to like. Henry Cavill, I'm obviously going to be biased towards him. And the general funness of a World War II, people getting blown up and Nazis getting killed. You can't really dislike that, can you? So for me, it was good. It just didn't quite live up to everything. So for me, it's a solid 7, but I'd struggle to go much higher than that.
Interesting.
Preach.
Interesting. Very, very interesting there. So MD hates Britain. Yeah. MD hates Britain. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, that's just going to be crazy. I was like, why aren't they speaking American?
My main issue comes in the latter part, right? In that final bit, and that final bit for me, this kind of really put a thing on it, like ruined the finale, the final third of this film, because it all just seems to happen. I found throughout the film, everything is super easy. At no point is there any tension. At no point is there any, they might be unstuck here. I get it early on that when they take out the thing, when you're just introducing the film, you don't want the film to open up and you'd be like, oh my God, I think my main character is about to die. Like, obviously that's ridiculous, but you want some sort of jeopardy throughout the rescuing the prisoner scene. I had absolutely no, that was easy. When they got to the thing, like, okay, you've got to seduce him, done.
Yeah.
We've got to blow the electrics. Oh no, I'm caught. Nah, sorry, don't worry.
Yep.
We've got to get the party. And then, oh no, luckily we heard from that Italian man who said, why did you do that to the hull? You've been using this ship for months and months and months, and only now am I deciding in the middle of this thing to complain about it.
More armor onto the boat. You got to say it like that, Hatch. Come on.
Yeah. Ridiculous. And then it's like, oh my God, they won't be able to blow it up. How do you know? He's made one throwaway comment. And now that's like, how do they know it's even reinforced? How do they know he's not talking absolute garbage? Lucky you got that one passing comment.
I've gone back in a time warp. That's what I'm feeling here. I've gone back in a time warp, ladies and gentlemen, to the days when Hachi wasn't interested in enjoying films, wasn't interested in things happening on screen that made you smile. Everything had to link up perfectly. Everything, every single sinew of film had to connect perfectly. Let me tell you something. Not every single film must have Jeopardy in it. Let me tell you something. When they were walking through, just shooting every motherfucker, right? Putting bullets in every cunt's head, right? And then going in there and seeing their mate, yeah. I couldn't give a fuck that it was easy. I was like, yes, I enjoyed that. The way just stabbing people in the neck, but absolutely furiously. It was like watching a Rambo scene on steroids.
Yeah.
I was like, sometimes I
thought
don't
about-
need. I don't need it sometimes. Sometimes I'm just happy just to see big fucking wedge guys and small little crafty guys go around with witty dialogue, fucking killing people, right? And killing the bad
what
guys.
What you type into the hub is on you, all right, mate. But when I'm watching a film, I need something like this film. It just felt like a cakewalk for them. Like if I've got two muscle bound brutes, right? I want to see that put to the fucking test. I want to see them work.
This was not that film.
Rambo.
This is not that film.
You just mentioned Rambo. Like even in the ones where it becomes right, okay, Stallone, he's just going to dick on everyone, right? There is still that sort of jeopardy. I think the Irish guy gets winged, and it's all like,
that was towards the end,
the shoulder, and that was it. And I was like, oh right, okay. And this is the thing here is like, you know, it's not even like you can say that Guy Ritchie wanted to pay homage to the whole actual thing, because in reality they were in and out within 30 minutes with pretty much zero I think they had zero casualties and minimal resistance on the boat, so you could have done whatever you wanted to, but everything was just not just from Henry Cavill.
Bro, this ain't a drama. This was not a drama.
It was so fucking easy, so fucking easy. Even when you thought the girl was in trouble, you're like, oh, she's fucked now because she's with the guy who likes like sexually assaulting and killing women. It's like, oh yeah, shackle her. And then 2 minutes later, she's in the back of the car. With, like,
surprise. Hatch isn't happy that the man did not torture the woman and sexually abuse her.
Oh my God. No, you've done me a disservice though. You have done me a disservice. My goodness. But just like,
was she hiding that gun in her privy parts there? Where did that gun
I don't know where that gun came from. I didn't know where that gun came from.
This was, as the guy from the pitch meetings would say, not even an inconvenience, like nothing at all. And I was like, oh, right, okay. Oh, I don't have to take anything seriously here at all. Like, this is just a joke then. This is Deadpool Wolverine.
Kind of film.
This is Deadpool Wolverine. When they're fighting, I don't need to worry.
This is the Hatch I love.
This is just it's a different type of, like, it's not, I agree with you, right? It wasn't a Revolver. Was it not Revolver? Was that Guy Ritchie film he made with Gerard Butler and whatnot?
Rock and Roller.
Yeah, right. It wasn't Rock and Roller. It wasn't Lock, Stock, whatnot, in the sense of all the kind of things combining and then it having the clever bits at the end, right? But and it is a blatant rip-off of Inglourious Bastards, right? It obviously is. But right, sometimes when a film is dope, right, and then you just copy a dope film and put dope actors in there and then have dope action, you get something dope. And that's what happened here. Like, there was, let me ask you something. In Inglourious Bastards, what jeopardy was there in that? What at any point did you think Aldo was going to die?
They all fucking died.
Who
died?
Movie theater.
They all died in the movie theater. Are you actually having a laugh?
No. That's not jeopardy. That was their plan. At any point, did you think their plan wasn't going to work? Like, you can't say it's jeopardy.
When they walked into the movie theater and Hans was standing there and you knew he busted him, I thought that was it. But then Hans had his own plan.
No way. Sorry.
You're asking about
You
Jeopardy.
thought the Nazi party were going to. You thought this film. You were watching Inglourious Basterds, and at some point watching it, you were like, "Oh God, I think the Nazis are going to win." You actually thought that? No way did you think that.
You're asking about jeopardy and tension in a film that has possibly one of the best and most intense opening sequences of all time.
Yeah.
Are you seriously asking that question now? Because you need to reevaluate your life. Let me ask you a question. When you wake up in the morning, and you look up into your front garden at the shill flag, which I presume is there catching the wind, and you loudly proclaim the shill of allegiance. How does that go? Like, do you sing it or do you just say it?
I pledge allegiance to just no. No. Listen, right? I'm not saying
The shill
right,
flag is just an arse as well. It's just an
listen
arsehole.
to me. What I'm saying, right?
Hairy
I'm
one.
not saying this is Inglourious Bastards, or that Inglourious Bastards doesn't have more depth to it, right?
Right.
And that opening scene in Inglourious Bastards is a great scene. However, when I'm watching Inglourious Bastards, at no point did I think like, oh, they're not going to succeed. They're gonna, like it's all gonna go wrong or anything, or like Aldo's gonna die. I was confident the whole way through that their plot is gonna, whatever their plot is, it's just gonna succeed and they're gonna win, right? And that Christopher Waltz's character is gonna get his comeuppance, right? It wasn't like a, I don't know, like a Schindler's List or something where you're thinking, God, everyone could fucking die here or whatnot. And this and this film takes it a step further, where fair enough, there's literally no jeopardy at all, right? But does there really always have to be that? Always. I appreciate sometimes in certain films you do have to have that, but this kind of film isn't supposed to be that film. Does it need it? Is that what this film was for, or was this film for your two guys, your wedge, good-looking blokes, going around and just taking people out left, right, center with witty banter, with MP go.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I understand what Hatch is saying, and I agree with him to a point. But when they went to the one island to rescue that one dude, and it was based, to me, I know you talked about Rambo, but all I could see was the end of Commando when he invades the island. It's just Arnold with a gun and he kills everybody. I was like, okay, that's what this is right now. This is not gonna be, oh my God, are they gonna make it through? These guys are just gonna kill, and they never missed anything. And he killed with bow and arrows, like guys would be hundreds of feet away, and he just go right through them. I was like, okay, that's what this group is, and I was having fun with that.
I'm not saying
my
I need
problem
it to
with the movie is every time it shifts to that girl and doing her, I was like,
I agree.
Movie just stopped.
Yeah, see, common ground. I agree with you, because that was the point where I was like thinking, like I said it at the beginning, when I was like,
straws here, MP.
No. When I said like I was a third of the way in, and I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Yeah, it's because like it does slow down when it got to those plot points, and I was a bit like, I don't really like. I found myself checking my phone and stuff, but the high points of just seeing like that R-rated violence with witty banter, right? When you combine those two things, witty banter with R-rated violence. I remember when we reviewed
I didn't even think it was that
Suicide
Suicide
Squad 2. Suicide Squad 2, with when John Cena and Idris Elba walking through that village, and they're fucking just killing people left, right, and center, and there's a good bit of banter between them. That's just good fucking view. And how was this not witty? It's just quality, that British, old school British humor. Like it was good scripting, man, and then good violence. And there are the imperfections, yes, but that's why it's not a 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but those parts, everything else is just kills this movie, and there's a lot of that. I mean, there were points where I thought I forgot Henry Cavill was in the movie.
Exactly. If you're going to have this fun film, but don't slow it down and get me stuck in the mud with some boring shit.
Like, maybe it would have been more. Yeah,
you might be right there.
To kind
why
of,
does the boss?
If they were going to bounce between two plots, I thought maybe if they'd went back to the to the stuff with Churchill where he's trying to hide everything. I kind of like that. I'd rather it bounce between those two story points than the girl.
I agree with you. I agree. Like maybe he has a mole and he's trying to get into, like, because it was obviously that sergeant.
That one guy, the sergeant, that he goes, you need to fuck off.
Maybe it was more of a thing, because it was literally like, oh yeah, it's him.
Yeah, I would accept the point that it's half like this kind of like fun film with these really great actors having fun, and the other half an actual Guy Ritchie film, and that it doesn't really know what it wants to be, right? I would accept that point if that's a point you want to make, but I don't accept. I will accept that, but I don't accept that the high points where it's good are not top notch. Are not. For you to say it's not witty and it's not. Yeah, I'll
tell you. I will give you something here in that.
I don't want it. I don't want anything from you now.
You will take it. You will take it. You will take it. Right? If if the film was the boys having fun, right? And you got rid of the shitty spy stuff, seduce the guy, but don't seduce him. Don't get taken back to his place, but get taken back to his place. That bollocks, right? If you take that out of it and it was just, right, for the next 2 hours, okay, a lot of Germans are going to die, okay, and these guys are going to have fun with it, right? Then I wouldn't mind it so much. And then if you had a really slick dialogue and if you had some really good witty banter, then I would buy into it a lot more. But the script is it's good, but it's not great. And the actual story that goes through is good, but it's not great. And then when I have that, I'm then alerted to the other things that also bring it down because my attention, I'm not just there like, man, this is fucking fun. Deadpool Wolverine, dog shit plot. But I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay with it because the rest of it is so much fun. And for me, it just wasn't hitting them heights. The actual thing when they rescued Appleyard, I was like, this is good. When they're against the Germans at the beginning, this is good. And then the final scene, like when you've got Alan Richardson picking up an axe and hacking people, I was like, yeah, the practicality of that, ridiculous. He's swinging an axe in close confines as he himself is a unit. He's actually probably disadvantaged there up against 15. But I loved it. And that was great.
That scene with the music, the way the music was going, and Richardson's going around stabbing people and they're fucking people up left, right, and center. That scene was elite. Like that scene was a 9. That scene was a 9.5, 10. Like that was as good a scene as I've seen in any film ever. Like I was sitting there just like big smile on my face watching that, just thinking, yes, that is fucking. This is it, bro. This is what I'm here for. That, you know, and those high points. Sometimes you just have to grab onto those high points. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
like an hour and a half of this movie, just that I'd have been good.
Maybe 7.75 is too high, right? But the high points were just so high, right? I mean, we've had so much meh this year in the cinema. There's just been like 5, 6, 5, 5, 6, you know, kind of stuff. That when I see something that really fucking grabs me, I'm just like, yes, I'll take it. I'll take that 10 minutes of fucking good shit. And the rest of it being average rather than just something that's meh the whole time, you know.
I can't because if you can do that stuff so well, then you can make it better than what you're giving me. You're adding that shit that's just pulling down the movie, and I'm like, why don't you give me what I want? I mean, as much as we differentiated on Deadpool and Wolverine, at least it did do that. It was like, here's what y'all want, enjoy it. This is what I wanted. I wanted them two big dudes just killing everybody. And remember what's that movie? It came out last year. Was it Sisu or Sisu?
Sisu,
yeah. That kind of was like what this should have been, you know, where it's just that's the plot. Let's have fun with it, and I enjoyed the.
And if you had Henry Cavill with that funness to him, doing that, combining that with the Sisu thing,
with all his charisma and charm, because he was really good in it. I was like, damn it, why can't Cavill get a whole movie where he's great in it through the whole movie? He just keeps these roles where it's like he's great, and then he's gone for parts of the movie and whatnot, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, Argyle springs to mind because he was completely wasted there, wasn't he? Because he's barely in the whole thing. I do agree. I just think like they gave Marjorie this big part. Again, I read up on her, and she did do some sneaky beaky stuff in the background. I think the film enlarges her part in it all, and her main thing was to seduce the German guy and keep him away. Like, if the plan is to do that and slip away anyway, why aren't you just like luring him away, knifing him in the back and leaving him to die? Why do you need to lure him away? Why can't he come? Why do you need to spend the whole time with him? Like, he's one man.
I thought what's he going to do? When they had all the soldiers, they chained them into the party where they were at. I thought, why not just blow up that building and then you have no problem with any soldiers shooting at you?
Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, but
there was innocence in there as well.
You had the staff in there. So I get it. Like, So the actual
Trust the
mission,
American to say, well, why didn't you just kill
Yeah.
him? Just kill them all, man.
That's
Yeah.
collateral
Yeah,
damage.
yeah.
It's all right.
Collateral damage.
Yeah,
Comes with the
exactly.
territory. I mean, come
We
on.
had Big Boy's little brother. He was just sat there doing nothing. Yeah, so I get that. Like the original mission had about 55 guys. There wasn't any rescue thing for Appleyard. He left like months in advance. Do you know what the whole thing is pretty interesting reading. I won't go into it now, but like they did like literally slip in and slip out, right? And the whole idea was to they threw a party, they did all that stuff to keep everybody there.
I'm not going to go into it now, but let me go into it.
Let me go into it.
No, that was just one similarity.
I read that Sir
yeah, that
Christopher
makes sense,
Lee was part of the Ungentlemanly team.
Well, he was Sir Christopher Lee. Yeah, he's
Was he?
Sauron. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
Have you not heard the story of him talking to Peter Jackson during Lord of the Rings?
Thank you. I was trying to think what movie it was.
Yeah. Peter Jackson's like, so you're coming up behind him and you're gonna sort of stab him in the back. So you got to imagine the kind of noise that he's gonna make like that. And he's like, he says, Peter, I know exactly the noise man, when you stab him. And then Peter Jackson had to be like, holy shit, like this guy's fucking intense. He has killed many men. Christopher Lee. He was part of like the SAS. I think during like World War II when it was like basically first formed, or like when it was called the SSRF. I think they called it.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
at the
this.
end where they tell that the girl marries Cavill's character.
Gus.
But
March Phillips.
when you watch the movie and they show that at the end, I was like, really? Because they had 2 brief moments together. How did that happen?
Yeah.
So
there was nothing in that film that suggested they were.
No. What they also don't tell you is that he actually died later that year.
Yeah, I read that later.
Did he?
Yeah, and the one dude, Apple.
Did not.
He had
Appleyard was also in the same raid that Gus was killed. Appleyard was captured, held for a year. Obviously, didn't break as the film says, but was then shot by firing squad. And then Larson, Alan Richardson, he lived for 3 more years. I think he's like the only non-Brit winner of one of like the most prestigious medals. He died in 1945. Again, he basically led a team, got mortally wounded, didn't want the team to wait for him because it would put them in danger, so told them to leave, and then he died. And he was 24 at the time of this mission.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Do you think his family, the real person's family, was like in all the fact they picked Alan Richardson? They were like, yeah. They showed his picture at the end. He was just a skinny little dude, and then in the movie, he's this massive bulk of a man. They're like, that was our great granddad right there.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Yeah. Quite
that's deep, man.
Yeah,
that's deep. I didn't know that. That's but it's like dampener and everything for me. I thought he got married to that bird, and then they were like,
that's what I'm here for. That's right. She had a great life. She ended up obviously being in all the movies. She was a film star, and that's not a bad way to cope with the death of your husband, I suppose.
You don't get just a review on this podcast. You get some.
You get history lesson as well, and you will get. I will bore you to death with it.
He died. He didn't even die. He didn't die a glorious death either. Well, I mean, it was glorious.
He died trying to get away. He died in the Gus.
He was trying to swim to shore, and he got shot after his canoe got damaged. But you know what? As I believe, if you die in battle, you go to Valhalla. So
that's right.
He will be there. He will be there. You will never get to Valhalla, Hatch. You're a coward. But Gus March Phillips will be there. I can say no more insulting things than that, can I?
Can I also say, right? I want to move on swiftly from that before I break down. The one thing I saw it immediately, and I was like, "Nah, I don't care about that in this film. I'm happy with that." And that was the suppressed weapons. Because I can tell you, in World War II, they definitely weren't
that quiet.
I want to know what gun that was. I want to know what gun that was.
I think it was the Sten.
Like that was working a treat, wasn't it? Like No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't see
pretty sure
one
it was the
person
same.
reload that, so I don't know how many bullets were in those mags, but there wasn't
No, they
one
were
reload
reloading.
throughout
I
that
did
They
see
entire
them
reloaded.
movie.
reloading.
They
I
reloaded.
Did
reload.
they?
I saw
I
them
thought it was
reloading.
funny that
Yeah,
every
yeah,
time
yeah.
they reloaded it was like at the perfect moment to reload because everybody be dead, and
Yeah.
then they would reload. You're
I
like,
feel like I
okay.
didn't see a reload, but maybe I was just like, because I was just focusing on the violence. But yeah, those silences were real good, weren't
Yeah,
they?
Yeah. I liked it initially because when they went to rescue Appleyard, it was just like the sounds of the truck, and I was like, oh yeah, pretty clever. And then after that, it was just like, nah, just
yeah.
just fire away.
Just walking through.
That's great. That's great.
That
I
scene
mean,
was great, man.
Yeah,
That
it
scene
was.
for me
fucking
though,
That
great.
was. It was fun.
I don't think it topped the initial scene though. For me, that was the better one.
Yeah, that was good.
When they get boarded by the U-boat, or no, the ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that was. Do you know what? That, I mean,
They
firstly,
they
yeah, that
waved
film
that
was great.
German, that dead German's hand up in the air. I was like, I
Yeah.
laughed.
I don't think that.
I don't think it's
they're buying
working.
it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. I don't
And
think
that
they're
was
buying it.
That was a great scene. You know what I also thought was like how easy, like it would have been to like, or not easy, but how like poor warfare was even just like 50 60 years ago. So like they're like just fucking rowing up on this tiny little boat with a couple of fucking machine gun, like literally you could just be on the boat and see them coming, and as soon as they were like 20 meters away, just go okay, and they'd be fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
crazy. But what
Yeah,
a
no,
scene that
100%.
was.
That was a
That
good scene.
scene, the scene where they rescue that whatever his name is,
Appleyard.
Appleyard, and that last scene were just so good. Like so good. I agree. Amongst that, there's a bit of boring shit, but those scenes were just creme de
I
la
will
creme.
say, as much as I
Chef's kiss.
liked the beginning, it did something that had me worried very early on, because you have that scene on the boat, and you kind of get introduced to the team, and you figure out, if you're a smart movie watcher, you figure out what these characters are on the team, and then it shifts to them having the scene that I
I
liked
know what you're
because
gonna say.
Henry Cavill, because the way he was walking around in the little meeting room with everybody, and he kept like picking up little
Yeah,
things,
that
all the
was great.
cigars. It was funny, but I like that coat. But then he sits down and tells everybody what you just learned about these characters. And then they cut back to the boat, and Henry Cavill tells his team the plan that you already heard about from all the generals and stuff. So you're basically getting the same information that you got in minimal parts of the movie spread out over the first 5-10 minutes of this movie, where I was like, okay, we get the point, let's move on. And I was like,
I
oh
agree
shit,
with
is this
you.
what this is gonna be like? We're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree, and I'll tell you where I said this a lot recently, but I think this is a film that they thought largely this is going to be streaming, and what do we all talk about? It's the
Yeah,
two-screen thing, and
yeah,
I think it
you're
was
right.
like audiences are going to we're thinking dumb, switch off your brain, be
Looking at my
literally given
phone and
everything that you could possibly have. I mean, it was even silly when you had the I think it's Frederick was like, oh, what are we doing out here? Are you joking me?
yeah.
You've left.
You got on that boat and
You've
didn't ask.
you've left a port in England. You've been traveling for how long on this fishing boat? You're now on the west coast of Africa, and you're like, so
What am I
What's
doing out
the
here now?
plan?
I was like, oh, come on, that's obviously a bit of a thing. And there are
I
like
don't
little
know.
things like that. And I
I
just
don't know.
thought that, and that's exactly what I talk about with like Guy Ritchie. Where's this snappy dialogue? Where's this clever ways of telling you things and stuff like that? I just wish as well, like with that initial bit, for me, the smart, the kind of, it was almost like a dumbness, playfulness, but also quite smart with when you've got Alan Richardson waving the German's hand, and like, I don't think they're buying it. It's very much like they know it's not going to work. We know it's not going to work, and
Yeah.
it's just, but it is just hilarious. And then when they're trying to find the range, he's like, "Oh, they'll find the range soon." Frederick, what was the timer? And he was like, "You're not enough." And it is that like, as you said, like kind of that. Stiffen up a little bit. Don't worry about it,
Yeah.
old boy. Comedy, but it was quite good as like Henry Cavill's looking behind him as they get a little bit closer. But then again, I didn't. It was for me. It didn't really hit that height. But you had that Appleyard bit where he's like, "Would you mind turning off the battery?"
Yeah.
That was great. That's good.
Everything
then
with the
after
coat.
that, I
Every
didn't
time you
really
saw a
feel.
coat, he would be like, I like that coat. That always made me
I
laugh.
agree. I agree as well. That opening scene when he meets them, he was never in prison, by the way. That bit where he meets them, and they're like, "I'll help yourself to tea," and then he's looking at it, he looks at him like, But that's just pure. I think that's pure Henry Cavill doing Henry Cavill things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got the charisma. He knows how to act. He's a great performer. Like, and I think he is quite humorous as well. Or when you listen to him speak, so that's just all him. Like the little look, like because he wants the whiskey, he doesn't want the fucking tea. Yeah, but there was just not enough of it. Not enough of Henry Cavill in a Henry Cavill movie that he's supposed to be in.
I agree.
But no one's going to disagree with you there. No one's going to disagree with that.
Mate, if you like, I mean, bearing in mind how different this was from real life, like fuck off the fucking the little intelligence thing. She could have just been a little runner, and then the other bloke could have just been like, oh yeah, like all the plans have been set. Like, give me more of the team, like blowing shit up and killing people. Like, make up a thing where they had to like stop off it, and like, they did actually, they stopped off and met up with the guys, the local guys. Just fucking have a thing where they then, oh yeah, we've actually not got enough weapons for what we think we're gonna have to do. Like, we've got to go raid this other bit on the way. Like, fucking do it. Like, make it a whole road trip of them just going on to the next location, fucking them up. The next location, fuck them up.
Mm-hmm.
Leave this shitty spy bollocks.
Exactly.
Or be smarter with it.
Yeah.
That's my
I did enjoy. I did like the I forget his name now. What's the guy that played cricket? What was he called?
Oh yeah, the Prince of.
Yeah, the Prince.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I liked him and his crew. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed like when they all got together, and it's like, we're gonna need a few more big guys, and all those guys come forward and stuff. And I like their play together. And they had that lovely bit of dialogue that was like the most British bit in the world. Old boy and fantastic St. John and whatnot. I was just like, yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah. One eye on the boundary.
Yeah, one on the pub.
Yeah, that was the first time like one of them gets shot, and I was like, oh, these guys can die. Like, the good guys will take a bullet. I mean, obviously none of the good guys get it at all, but like, yeah, that was the first time I was like, oh yeah, okay, maybe we will see some good guys die then.
I don't want to see him die.
I know Hatch was a big fan of the young lady showing them all how to shoot guns and stuff.
Oh, I can imagine him hating that. I thought the same thing when I was watching it. I was like, actually,
no, she was good. No, I liked it. She had good technique. She had good technique.
Don't just say it. Don't just say it. Don't just say it for the.
I liked it. I liked it. I liked it.
God, I tried to bait him to come. He wouldn't bite.
She was shown to be extremely capable, and I'm all on board with that.
Damn it.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well played.
The way she was shooting those revolvers, it just straight out in front of her, not even looking down the sights and hitting everything.
That was impressive.
Yeah, impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive shooting there.
Well, they all could shoot without looking at anything.
Just instinctual stuff. Also, how have we gone 50 minutes without mentioning the Cleopatra dress?
Because y'all are obsessed with Henry Cavill.
Whoa.
Goddamn.
Yes, she
let
was an
me just say,
attractive young lady.
Let me just say, guys. Whoa. Remember what was the other film we did? What was the other film we did recently? Was it
The Hitman?
Lots of films.
Yeah.
With the girl,
the
flight attendant.
It was another one of those situations.
Yes, it
was another.
I didn't mind those few minutes of the movies. It could have slowed down right there. I was good.
I enjoyed the outfit change, and then suddenly she's up on stage singing as well.
Listen, it was all good. I didn't care.
Dress, that was great.
I just
a bit of a shitty rip off aside of it's a Yiddish phrase.
That was
I mean, I didn't.
That
was like.
I mean, there's
really. We're gonna have a musical
there's a lot
now. Let's get back to the fun.
That was poor. That was poor. That was.
I'll say one thing. There is a lot of rip-offs in this film, but that bit was like you kind of want to say to Gary, bro, you're not even trying. Like, you're literally not trying. You can't just literally have a German a fake German be given away by doing something that's not German. You just can't. Come on, man. Come on, you're better than that. But ultimately, do I care? Probably not, because I mean that dress, woo, and the I want to watch her and Henry Cavill have sex.
They would have done. They would have done.
I don't know who I'd be more excited about though. That's the only problem. I'm like, stop showing her. Get back to Henry. Get back to Henry.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, how many times did you call the Mrs. Henry after you watched this movie on accident?
Oh dear.
Oh,
all right.
God.
who's altering the rating?
You convinced me. You have convinced me. You have convinced me. I'm gonna because you are right. Because I only watched it not that long. You know, I watched it today. And I loved that last scene so much. Not the last scene, but that the action towards the end, the last third. I say I love the last third so much. I think probably I have ignored those slow bits. So I'll go to a 7.25. So you dropped me down a half.
And the
That's a strong
Muad'Dib
drop on.
shall be wise enough.
MP, are
No
you
hesitation.
staying 5.5?
Yes. I don't interrupt MP when he's when he's praying at the altar of the Muad'Dib.
That's my favorite time to interrupt him.
One day you will acknowledge the Mahdi of the Pod Nation. Hatch.
Infidel.
You're like one of the Fremen from the north, right? You know what I mean?
I am Heron. I'm Heron. The guy. I'm the character Heron in June. Did you recognize him?
Was
The
he
other
the guy
spy
that
with-
Paul fought with?
What are you
No,
talking
no,
about?
no.
It's what are you talking about? The black guy.
The character. Yeah. He's
not called Heron.
he's-
It's not. His
I
name's
thought
not
that's-
Heron.
in this film. it is.
No.
It's
Oh,
Mr.
in
Heron.
this film. Sorry. I thought you were saying in June his name's Heron. I was like,
Yeah,
no.
but he's in June and he's the first kill that thingy gets.
Yeah,
Paul
he's
gets.
the one that Paul
Yeah.
kills. Yeah.
Oh, you did say Paul. I was
I
thinking in
did.
this film, I was like, he doesn't fight anyone called Paul in this film. But yeah, no,
Oh,
we're on the
that-
same page.
that point is just really
sorry.
flawed.
We're reading the same book. We're just not on the same page. No, I recognize him. Yeah, so yeah. I can't actually remember the
cheers for
original
that.
point.
Cheers for that.
Anyway, what's our average rating then? We got a 7.25, a 5.5, and a 7.
So you two are staying the same, are you?
I am.
Yeah,
I backed
yeah.
it. I thought I was
That-
accurate.
That
Straight
stuff
from
on
the
the island just killed this movie for me.
All right. No, we'll give it a 6.6.
Okay,
6.6.
you're not happy with that, are you?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I can see.
That's because that's basically almost a bang average movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I suppose. I mean, the great bits are great. The poor bits are boring. So it's like, I suppose But I mean, I definitely would give this just go watch Seal of Approval and say you should see it. No
It's
doubt
an
about
easy
that.
watch. It is an easy watch.
It's a
Yeah.
good,
And it's worth watching
Alright.
for the high points.
So, what do you think of the Rotten Tomatoes? What are they going to think of it? What do our critics and what do our audience say?
I can see the critics. I can see the critics being pretty much in line with us. I think they're going to think it was good, but not great. So I reckon, say, 65. And audience score. I feel like the audience is going to like it, but not math. I'm going to say 80 for the audience.
Okay.
I think critics are going to line up a little lower than our final score. I'm going to go. What did you say, Deej? I missed yours. I'm sorry. I was looking online.
65.
All right, I'm going to go 59 for critics. I don't think the audience. God, I don't know. The Brits will love this. Let's go 78 for our audience.
So the critics are on 69. Well done, Deej.
What's that bang?
And the audience
Oh my
is on
God.
93.
Oh, well, the
Wowzers.
Muad'Dib. The Muad'Dib.
Wowzers. Well, there he is.
Yeah.
The Muad'Dib. Praise me, Hatch. You have no
You
choice
get-
but to praise me.
You've got lucky You did get lucky this week.
There's no way. For you shall know him by his accurate predictions. Never forget that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sure. All right. Well, on that
Hates
note,
it.
please get me out of here. Yeah, that was our review for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. This is not the entire feature-length movie. Please don't
Although
downvote
if
us
gotten this far into
you-
this episode.
because
then.
you failed to read what the title was. That's not our fault.
Some guy's watching it and he's like,
Maybe they will
hey,
believe
man,
it,
I just watched this video for an hour waiting for the film to start, and it ain't even started, man.
I heard all these British guys. I figured this was the damn movie. I didn't know which one
Maybe
was
we should,
Henry
maybe we
Cavill.
should do a script. We should do a script read one day, just
That's-
like an
yeah.
entire feature-length film. Just just read a script, and technically it'll be not incorrect. But
Go
a
on.
6.6 for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Not even Henry Cavill could really raise this one into that love, which is such a shame. Such a shame. But listen, there's only one way that you are going to know.
Hang on.
Am I not done? You want some more?
On. Yeah, because they need to know what we're doing next week, don't they? Yeah, because otherwise they're going to be sitting there like, what the hell's happening next week, man? How am I supposed to get through the week? How am I supposed to go to work and live my life and do all the things I do and not know what the Just Go Watch podcast are doing next week? They're going to want to know.
God forbid.
A grain of hope.
Is that what
so
it's called?
I believe
Yes.
next week we will be reviewing. I think it's Trap. Am I correct in saying that?
I think it's T-Rap.
I have all his albums.
Yeah, it is Trap. Yeah, you're right.
So join us next week.
Which again, it's out in the US this week.
Yes,
but not for us until next. What is this?
Fucking ridiculous, man. I thought they'd got past this. So join us next week. And when I say us, I mean me and MP, because Hatch and is obviously not going to be there because he's been here for 2 weeks now and he can never do 3 weeks in a row because he's a weasel. But join me in.
If I do 3 weeks in a row, the magic spell is lifted.
Oh, there we are. Join the Mardi of the Pod Nation and the Psycho of the movie nation. And we'll take you through it.
Yeah.
But now you can say what you need to say, Hatch.
All right. Well, listen, there's only one way that you're going to know what you think of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and that is. I was expecting some sort of really British.
I thought MP was going to come in and go, "Oh, just go watch."
I was trying to, but I couldn't get the British out.
It couldn't.
Just go watch.
It does stick in the throat. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'll do. All right, we're done.
Very good.